All right. Sorry about that. Can you guys can you guys see my screen still? We're good? Okay. So I dove deep into my mindset, my thoughts, my feelings, my judgments, my ego, my limiting beliefs. And the biggest thing that one of the biggest things I learned, and I really want you to let this sink in, is we don't get what we want, we get who we are. We don't get what we want, we get what we expect. And once I realized that, it really forced me to start looking at what I was thinking, right? Because if I'm thinking I'm not good enough, and then I'm feeling like I'm not good enough and I'm not worthy, then what the world is going to reflect back to me all these things that I'm thinking and that I'm feeling. And so, like, what the heck is self-love anyway? I've had some people ask me that. What the heck is self-love? It's really what you would give to someone else. Are you giving that to yourself? So it's about accepting yourself fully. And that means all of you, right? Both the good and the bad. Treating yourself with kindness and respect, nurturing your own well being. It's about owning that you're worthy and that you're good enough, independent of your achievements. And that's a really big one because as high achieving women, if we're so tied to what we've achieved, what are you without the accolades and the applause and the you did a good job and you're a good wife and you're a good mother and you're a good sister. So it's knowing that we're enough without all of those things. That's how I describe self-love. So now what I want to do is I want to bust some myths about self-love, right? What is it and what isn't it? Um, it is not about spa days. Um, that's what we hear. And obviously, if you need a spa day, take a spa days. Take a spa day. That's great. We all need that. It isn't selfish because we've been taught that to take care of ourselves and prioritize ourselves, especially as women, right? That it's selfish and it's not. And it's not about surface level self-care. What it is it's about setting boundaries and it's about speaking your truth and it's about choosing you even when you're uncomfortable, especially when you're uncomfortable, and regulating your nervous system, which just means knowing when you need to take a break, knowing when you're anxious, knowing when you need to take a pause, knowing when maybe you need to go for a walk or you need to put your hand on your heart and take a deep breath. The big thing with self-love is that it's about choosing it when you're uncomfortable. It's really easy to love ourselves. And I lost the chat. Zoom when you're sharing a presentation is really awkward, I gotta tell you, because I can't find the chat anywhere. I want to interact with you guys. So, it's setting boundaries, speaking your truth, and it matters when you're having a bad day. It's really easy to love yourself when things are great, right? You think you're the shit, you think you're awesome. But what happens when you're not awesome? And what happens when you're angry? And maybe you had a fight with your partner, maybe you didn't, you know, you had a bad work day or something awful happened, or you look at yourself in the mirror and you're like, I don't like the way I look. That's when it really matters. Okay. And I look at self-love very differently. I look at loving yourself as a relationship with yourself. It's a courtship. It's a lifelong series of consecutive dates. It's a marriage. But there's no option for divorce, ladies, right? When you go on a date, Chrisline's smiling. When you go on a date, we know very well how to go through the process intentionally of finding someone to love us. We go out there, we get on dating apps or however we meet someone, and we go through a process of getting to know that person. And it's a conversation, one after the other, and we get to know them, what they like and what they don't, and how do they make me feel. But when it comes to the relationship with ourselves, we don't do that. I look at it, it's the same thing, if not more important, because when you're dating someone else, you can get out of that relationship. It might not be easy, but you can not go on another date. You can break up with that person. And as painful as it might be at times, you can get a divorce. But with yourself, wherever you go, there you are. There is zero option for divorce. So it's really important to start cultivating a practice of honoring yourself and connecting with yourself, especially when things aren't going well. Why do we struggle with it? Why do high achieving women struggle with self-love? It's because we're used to being rewarded. We thrive on performance and we're rewarded for that in our careers, in our with our homes and the things we buy and the purses and the clothes. And we're rewarded in our personal lives for taking care of everyone else, right? We're the gender that gives. So I struggled with the fact that I was not a wife and a mother, and I thought there was something wrong with me because society has taught us that our worth lies in the things we do for other people, the roles that we play, wife, mother, sister, daughter, friend, coworker, all these things. We're never taught how to receive. So if you go out for dinner with a friend and she says, "Oh, Melissa, you look amazing today." Or Tanya, "I love that top." Or Joyce, "I love your hair." Can you receive that? Can you just say thank you and zip it? Or are you thinking, "Oh, I don't really have time to do it," or this old thing, and you downplay it, right? That's an inability to receive. And as feminine beings, our success lies in being able to receive because our heart is not fully balanced unless we're both giving and receiving. And when we're in giving mode, we're in masculine energy mode. And as high achieving women, we need a certain amount of that, right? To get shit done. But if we're so far out into our masculine that we don't practice receiving, that's where the burnout happens because it's not intuitive for us. We're not built that way. And so this is why we struggle with it, is we're used to doing things for the reward, doing things for the praise, doing things for, the attention. I grew up with that belief that if I just achieve things, like 4 degrees and I make a lot of money and I have an MBA and I do all this, that my loved ones praised me. They talked about me to other people. But if I were to do something that didn't involve some kind of external achievement, then I wouldn't get that. And so that's why it's so hard for us, because self-love is about knowing that we're good enough without having to prove our worth and without having to take care of everyone else. It's about prioritizing ourselves. So I want to talk to you about the strategic side of self-love, right? Why is this a good strategy in life, in business, in your personal life? Because when you truly love yourself, truly, you own your worth. Nobody else does, and you know what your level of deserve is. And I can tell you from personal experience, it changes everything. You set clearer boundaries. Remember I said I couldn't say no? Can anybody relate to that? Right? Chrisline is waving her hand. I can't see the chat. I'm sorry. Um, I couldn't say no. And now I say no quite regularly. And it took me a while to get there because I didn't want to rock the boat. You make bolder decisions. No, I'm not available for that. No, I'm not available for that. No, that doesn't make me feel good. And you're aligned with your pricing, meaning financially, you know what you're worth, right? You can sense if maybe you're not getting value for kind of what you're putting out there, and you have consistent energy. When I was in burnout, I couldn't walk my 2-year-old pup across the street. I live in Hyde Park, which is in Toronto, right across the street. I drove because my body was in such bad shape that I couldn't walk her. And I had no energy. When you have consistent energy because you're not around people that are draining you, you're not around, you're not doing activities that drain you, you're not engaging in work that drains you, because why would you do that as a high value woman, right? You love yourself. We don't do that. So you have energy. And I can tell you that when you set clearer boundaries, when you make bolder decisions, when you're aligned with what your worth is financially, and you have consistent energy, this will have a positive ripple effect on your health, your relationships, and your finances. So, what are some things? I want to give you some tools, some daily rituals that you can start implementing now to start down this path and really carve out what I call sacred solo time. Because we're all busy, right? We're doing a whole bunch of things, but some of the simple rituals that I find really helpful are doing a 5-minute check-in with your body. So before you rush from one appointment to the next, can you take 5 minutes, set a timer, put it in your calendar if you have to, and do a check-in and say, how am I feeling right now? What do I need right now? What sensations am I feeling in my body? If I'm stressed, I get scrunched up and my jaw gets tight and my body contracts. And the more you do something like that, the more you get in tune with yourself and with what's going on in your physical body and in your mind. A digital sunset is 30 to 60 minutes before you go to bed. Turn off your phone, turn off the screens. You're done. And just connect with yourself and say, you know what? I did my best today, and now I release the day completely. And what are 3 things I'm grateful for? And release any worries about your day. Journaling, which is what we're going to talk about, is my best tool. It saved me because when you journal, you have a conversation with yourself. Because like I said, your life is a series of dates. And when you go on a date, you have a conversation. The best way to connect with yourself and come home to who you are is to have that conversation with yourself. I love journaling because to me, it truly is the pathway to inner validation. It's a conversation with you. It's like having a daily experience and convo with yourself. It's a private judgment-free zone, and it's dating yourself on paper, or maybe you're somebody that likes to use an app. However you do it, it's dating yourself on paper. It's taking time out for yourself and saying, you know what, I'm going to connect with myself. It's witnessing yourself. How am I feeling right now? Am I angry? Am I happy? Am I tired? Am I stressed out? If you don't take time to connect with yourself, it's really hard to go through the day. If you're tired and you don't take time to connect with that part of yourself that's feeling tired, and you just keep going and going, you're just extending the burnout cycle, and it's not going to serve you. It's validating yourself. There are days when I write in my journal, I'm angry. And then I write about why I'm angry. Oh, I had dinner with Jenny and she was late and she really pissed me off. Or I didn't get all these things done that I wanted. And it's okay to be bothered about those things, but it's my space for me to say I'm angry instead of all my emotions swirling around in my head like spaghetti. Because who has that problem? When you're in your masculine energy, yeah, Julie says you're all up in your head, right? And you can't make head or tails. And if you're going through your day with your mindset scattered and you're all up in your head and you're angry about what happened last night, there's no way for you to get it out. And sure, it's nice to have a conversation with someone with our support systems, but what I want you to do is give it to yourself first. Because it's hard for us to give to other people what we don't have for ourselves. It's validating yourself, it's hearing your own truth, it's saying the things that maybe right now you don't want to say. I don't really like Jenny. I'm not sure if I want to hang out with her because hanging out with her doesn't make me feel good, or I don't like what my boss said to me today, or I don't like what my partner said to me today. He made me feel like this, or this is how I feel. It's hearing your own truth instead of letting it swirl around in your own head. And most importantly, it's cultivating awareness. It's cultivating awareness for what's going on inside of you. Otherwise, how can you know? How do you know where to go from there? How do you know what's going to make yourself feel better? How do you know what is good for your own well-being? Because when I started this, I said self-love is all about nurturing your own well-being. My well-being is my top priority, nobody else's. And in my opinion, it should be there before your kids and before your partner. I'm not saying don't take care of your children or your family. But what I am saying is that when you don't take time to nourish the relationship you have with yourself and what you need, it's very hard for you to give from a full cup to the rest of your family. And it's a private, very judgment free zone because it's meant for you. It's not meant for anyone else. I hope this is resonating. Give me a thumbs up because I can't see the chat right now. I will get to it in a minute. So what I want to do now is a live journal prompt. Okay, so let's take 3 or so minutes. Christine gave me hearts. I love it. Tanya gave me a heart. So I'm gonna play some music in a minute, and I want you to just take out a pen and paper, and I want you to journal on this prompt. What would choosing myself today look like? Whatever that means to you. So for 3 minutes, I want you to just write, no guilt, no judgment, just write whatever comes up. Trying to play some music here. The question was, let me pull it up. I'll share my screen. What would choosing myself today look like? Put it in the chat and I'll share my screen in a minute. Okay. Is there anybody that love it? Is there anybody that wants to share what came up for them? You don't have to, but anybody want to share or even put it in the chat? Oh, Melissa, go for it.
Okay, sorry, I'm not gonna go on camera because I was just walking upstairs and I haven't had time to like see what I look like.
No problem.
Um,
Just stop this music.
so mine's a little bit like uh, it's it's okay. Everyone's going through shit, right? So
Yeah, I can't hear
um,
you. I can't. Can I ask you to speak up a bit? I can't hear you very well.
okay, can you hear me now?
Yep.
Okay, so it's a little bit like it's a lot, but everyone's kind of going through shit. So
Yeah.
mine was setting boundaries with my mom. Um, she still calls me every day to ask what I'm doing. And if it's, I have to kind of lie about what I'm doing, or she'll ask me, what am I eating? So if I'm having like chicken fingers and fries,
Yeah.
I don't tell her. I tell her, oh, I'm having chicken breast and potatoes.
Yeah.
And because she, ever since I was a kid, would tell me, like, put your fork down, you've had enough. Um, so that's something, but also, like, if I tell her something exciting, she's there to knock me down. So
Mm.
the most recent example is that I got my headshots done, um, and I thought they looked great. And when I showed her, she was like, "Well, I don't like those. You look really big."
Oh, yeah.
So now I hate them, but use them because to get another set is another few $100s, right? So
Yeah.
um, I use them. And then another example is I'm shopping for another car and I wanted like a replacement. And I was looking at like nicer vehicles, but nothing crazy. And she was like, "Why would you look at that?" First of all, I accidentally sent her a text message with the car. I meant to
Yeah.
send it to my husband. And then her comment back is like, "Where are you living? Where is your brain? Why would you spend that much on a car? Why are you buying $20,000 max?" And I'm like, first of all, that wasn't for you.
Yeah.
Secondly, like, I'm the one who makes my money. So I don't have kids. I don't have like crazy responsibilities. So like who are you to say something? And then I just don't know how to stop because it's my mom and I love her. She's just
Yeah.
I don't know.
Thank you for sharing that. And I honor you for acknowledging, first of all, that it is an issue for you. And, for saying, this is for me. And I encourage you to go back and look at those photos that you took again
Hmm.
from your own lens
Yeah.
because you liked them before she said anything. So all of this is it's also we're so impacted by what other people think of us, right? So I would encourage you to look at your pictures again and go back and journal about that and write what you liked about them. But thank you very much for sharing that.
Thank you.
Julie, did you want to say something?
Only if you were looking for another share. That's all.
That's okay. Um, Tori? Tori R. I see your hand up. I don't know if that's an accidental button press or okay, so she's not responding. So um You put something in the chat. Okay, Tori, you put something in the chat. Choosing myself today means honoring my boundaries and stepping away from activities that don't align with who I am, even if they've previously been done to please others. Yes, you don't need to fit into every space, being patient. Yes, the person I used to be is not the person I am today. That's so important to make space for growth. And one thing I'll also tell you as you move along your journey is part of that growth is realizing that not everyone's going to come with us because they were invested in the version of you that didn't own her worth or owned her worth less. So that's really important. Choosing me means also means allowing myself to dream, to explore my thoughts, and to live more unapologetically. Oh, we lost her. All while evolving as a woman into today's society. Thank you for sharing. Tanya is focused on the present moment. Yes, being mindful, not worrying about the future or past. No to-do list. To-do lists are all masculine energy. They keep us in our head. Liberated from attachments, no mental thoughts running 24/7, and loving myself unapologetically. I love it. And I will say over and over again, the best way to kind of, for me in my own experience, when I had thoughts going through my head, I needed to process them and get them out. So how are you going to do that? Get them out on a piece of paper, get them out on an app, put them in your note, right? Go to the notes function and just say, I'm really angry or whatever it is. Keanu Parker, choosing me means standing in my truth and not being able to address how people are hurting me. And if they play victim, so be it. Absolutely. We don't care about what other people think about us. What other people think about me is none of my business, is what I always say. And once you learn to speak your truth, trust me, it's very, very freeing. I love all of that. So thank you very much for sharing, and I hope that was helpful. And not letting others live rent free in your head. Yes. Yes, Christine, absolutely. Not letting others live rent free. You are the asset. You're we spend so much time acquiring other assets and building relationships with other people, and all of those things are important, but you are your best asset. So loving yourself and owning your own worth and your level of deserve is the best strategy you can ever have, because when you find it in here, I can tell you from personal experience, when you're internally happy and you own that, it radiates out and the universe brings it back to you. So you're not here to prove your worth, you're here to reclaim it. And I really hope you say yes to practices that bring you home to yourself, because this is all about connection, and it's all about being able to sit with yourself every day, no matter what you're feeling. Because like I said, it's great when it's great, but when it sucks, you still got to look at yourself in the mirror, right? And so I've found that being able to sit with myself in those moments has been my greatest savior, because I no longer beat myself up. Like my dips are low. It's, when something goes wrong and we beat ourselves up for it, saying something like, I'm an innocent child of love. I'm doing the best I can. I did my best. And I'm not perfect. How many of you have dealt with perfection, right? That's the lowest bar you can set for yourself. I see some hands being raised. I'm not perfect, and that's okay. Like you guys can clearly see, I didn't record it. So people are going to get half a recording, and I'm having a hot flash right now, but if I take off my shawl, you're going to think I'm naked. So I'm leaving my shawl on, and I'm like, where's the chat? And oh my God, how do I maneuver all these things? Because the last thing I want you to think is I have my shit together, because I don't always have it together. And that's what loving myself has given me, is this license to say, I think I'm a pretty cool, good person, but I'm not perfect, and I'm okay with that. And so we're 10 to 8. And so I want to invite you to go deeper with me on this. Like, I'm so stoked about this. You have no idea. It's time to reconnect, reclaim, and rise. So I have a challenge starting June. We start June 15th. This is not just a journaling challenge. It is a self-love reset. It's 100 days because it takes time to build a habit. And I want you guys to come along with me. So what you're going to walk away with, I hope, is that you've created some sacred solo time and a sacred practice, even if it's 5 minutes a day where you connect with yourself and you have that bad conversation, or you record your epic life, and you take whatever's out in here, the things that you don't want to say. So Melissa, the things you want to say, the things you want to say to your mom, you get those out on a piece of paper every day. And the more that you honor that, your self-worth will increase because you become aware of what you need. And you start getting angry and thinking, that's not good for me. And that's when your worth starts to rise. You honor your emotions. How many of you have ignored your emotions? I was burnt out for 10 years. Julie raised her hand. I ignored the tiredness. Tanya said her body shut down. There's a part of you, that inner voice that says, no, I'm tired. No, I need rest. And you're like, no, I'm going to listen to the voice that says, do, right? When you ask yourself, how do I feel right now? That when you do that every day in some form and you have that conversation, it's that date. Yeah, ignoring my emotions gave me chronic IBS. I get it. I had severe insomnia, back pain. I was on 2 sleeping pills a day and medical cannabis, and legit couldn't walk my dog, right? Among other things. Break free from that perfectionism and that struggle. It doesn't need to be a struggle. If you think it's hard, it's gonna be hard. It can be so easy. I used to struggle to rest, and you know what my motto is now? The more I rest, the more I make. I wrote this presentation in full disclosure this afternoon, and the type A part of me was like, oh, you need to do this the night before. Get it done, Nisha. Get it done. And I was tired. I couldn't do it. So you know what I did? I made a cup of tea and I sat on the couch with my pup and I watched Grey's Anatomy and I went to bed early. So self-love is about ignoring the to-do list and saying, I don't feel like it right now. And if you can, postponing it, right? I got it done. This is what I could do. But because I rested, I was able to show up for myself today. Reconnect with your truth. What's in your heart? Melissa, what do you really want to say to your mom? Get that out on a piece of paper, process it. And when you do that, you will accelerate growth. You will elevate your level of deserve so that you can have better relationships with yourself and other people. You can have better health. We don't want back pain or chronic IBS. We don't want our bodies to shut down, right, Tanya? Because that's not good. It doesn't feel great. We don't want, Chrisleen, people to occupy mental space in our head. And you know what? When you elevate your level of deserve, damn straight, you're going to make more money. So what's included in this is there's journal prompts for 100 days. These are specific around self-love. They're going to get you to think, and they're going to be questions that maybe, like today, you've never asked yourself. And you're going to get good at that. Motivation and accountability. We do this in a Facebook group, so you need to be on Facebook. You'll get check-ins from me. You'll get videos from me. You'll be able to check in daily. Julie is pretty exhausted and just needs to stop the insanity. I don't want you to put up with insanity. Don't put up with shit because you don't deserve that, right? We teach people how to treat us, and you will get a weekly group coaching session from me. You'll get access to me where if you need additional support, I can give you that. And you know what? You're going to change. I know it. And that transformation is priceless. When you can have a conversation with yourself and have awareness about what's going on inside of you, what works for you, what doesn't, what you like, what you don't, what makes you happy, what doesn't, and you can process things and make sense of them, you will start to think differently. So it's over 10,000 in value, but it's $4 a day. This is an introductory offer. It's 297 US. If I convert that for 100 days into Canadian, it's $4 a day. So there's a QR code there. I hope you scan it to take advantage of it. I will also be sending an email out to everyone that registered. So you will get this information, the link, and there's some PDFs that I have where I again go through my story and some of this in there. But we're starting June 15th, and I don't want to do this alone. I'd love for you to join me. So I invite you to scan that QR code and really think about this. You need to have awareness of what's going on inside you. And the best way I know to do that is to do this and start that conversation and date yourself every day. And as you date yourself every day, you will learn to honor yourself even when you're angry and when you're sad and when you're upset, because life is not a bed of roses every day. We know that. And I want you to be able to love yourself through that and say, I'm tired, not today. I'm mad, not today. I did my best today, and this will help you get there. So thank you for being here. I want to also give you another free gift. So there's another QR code. This is a self-assessment quiz, a self-love assessment quiz. Take a scan of it, and it's a free quiz if you're curious to see where you're at. Some of you seem to have some good awareness around that. This will give you another gauge, and there's also a link to get on a call with me. I'd love to talk to you, and I'm opening up some slots tomorrow and Saturday. I am practicing what I preach and hopping on a plane to somewhere warm on Sunday. So my calendar will be blocked off until May 26th, but I do have some time Friday and Saturday. Um, Oh, Keanu, I'm so happy. It was amazing and very digestible. I totally love that. I'm going to take a screenshot of that because I think that's really, really great feedback just of what you said. Um, and that my information is there. I would love to stay connected with you. I will put the code up again. You can book a call with me there. I'm going to send this out through email as well. Talkwithnisha.com. I'm on Instagram at the Self Love Maven. Um, Follow me, stay connected. I saw that some people follow me on Eventbrite. I will be doing more of these master classes. I'm really passionate about this, ladies. After what I went through, the one thing I think every woman in this world, especially a high achieving woman in this world, needs to know is that every woman, every human being, that you're good enough and that you're worthy exactly as you are and that you're loved. And when you know that inherently, I can tell you from personal experience, things just get better. It's a road. It's a bumpy road as you start to navigate what other people, how they respond to you and all of that. But really, honestly, it's worth it. So I hope you scan that QR code. I will send this information out again by email. Um, Thank you so much for making us fall in love with ourselves. I love all of you. I'm so glad that you all showed up today. Some of you I know, some of you I don't know. And I really hope that you enjoyed this. So you're welcome to come off mute if you like. I don't know what the time is. It's 7:58. We have 2 minutes, and that's it. That's all I got for you today. Now I'm gonna take off I'm still having a hot flash. I am wearing clothes. Thanks, Tori.
Great job. You
Thank you. Was that Chris
stayed
Lane?
stayed on time and everything.
I'm
Like,
very punctual.
Saved 2 minutes before.
I'm
And it
very
wasn't rushed through, I think. It wasn't rushed through,
I
it
didn't
was
feel
simple.
rushed. Didn't feel rushed at all.
Yeah.
good. I'm glad. I'm so glad. I need to get better at navigating Zoom through these. It's a minefield when you've got a chat and people and presentation and you're on YouTube and you're trying to play music and all the things. But I'm not about perfection, as you know. So I've learned to let go of needing to make it perfect because we don't want that, right? I never want anybody to think they need to be perfect because that's an unrealistic standard. So, so thank you all for being here. Julie, thank you for being here. Nicole, Ronnie, Christine, and I don't know how Chakea Simmons. I thank you so much for being here. I apologize if I did not say your name correctly. And I look forward to stay tuned for an email over the next day or so. But I look forward to all of you hopefully joining the challenge and just being with you again. It's hard to scan the code. Um, you know what? I'll send it out over email. Um, it works for me.
Send a link in the
Yeah,
email.
it's finicky.
Yeah.
QR codes, like you got to keep positioning
Yeah.
it right. You got to
And
keep.
that way, if you do email, we can register on our desktop
You can
versus.
register. You can register. I'll send it out by email in the next day or so. We start June 15th, and I'm really excited. So thank you all for being here. It was really lovely to see your faces. And have yourself a good night.
Thank you.
Good evening.
Thank you.
Bye.
See you later. Bye.
Bye.